Once it was a tall world of cloudy mountains and bright rivers, and the sun was a white blazing ball. Ages of rain and wind have beaten and rounded the granite, and the sun is feeble and red. The continents have sunk and risen. 1,000,000 cities have lifted towers, have fallen to dust. In the place of the old peoples a few thousand souls live. There is evil on earth, evil distilled by time. Earth is dying and in its twilight. The Dying Earth by Jack Vance, 1950. 1950? I thought this was Rocket Summer and this was the 1940s. Well, I've taken a bit of artistic license, I guess you might say, because the tales within The Dying Earth were written when Jack Vance was a merchant marine in World War II. John Holbrook Vance, Jack Vance, was born August 28, 1916, and passed away May 26, 2013, at the age of 96. He was an American mystery, fantasy, and science fiction writer living in California. Vance had weak eyesight, which prevented military service, but in 1943 he memorized an eye chart and became an able seaman in the Merchant Marine. In later years, boating remained his favorite recreation. Boats and voyages are a frequent motif in his work. Among Vance's earliest published work was a set of fantasy stories written while he served in the Merchant Marine. They appeared in 1950, several years after Vance had started publishing science fiction in the pulp magazines, under the title The Dying Earth. Vance was a prolific author and continued the Dying Earth series with 3 more novels. The Eyes of the Overworld in 1966, although Jack preferred the title Kugel the Clever. The third book, Kugel's Saga, in 1983. Once again, Jack had a more preferred title, Kugel the Skybreak Spatterlight. And the last in the series in 1984, Rialto the Marvelous. I have the Orb Omnibus with all 4 novels, titled Tales of the Dying Earth. This one has a cover by John Berkey that really has nothing to do with the Dying Earth. The last novel that I read by Jack Vance before reading The Dying Earth was Big Planet. This was a science fiction adventure, a rollicking adventure across the Big Planet. You can find a review on my channel. I'll put a link in the description to this video. The Dying Earth definitely reads as fantasy, as stories in fantasy. The setting, however, could be thought of as science fiction, and one of the stories definitely deals with technology. The quote from the beginning tells you this is an ancient Earth. Earth's population has shrank, and this is now a world of fantasy with ancient cities, cities that hold secrets to the previous civilizations, our civilization. But instead of technology now, we have magic. I guess you could ask, is magic a technology of the future? But this definitely is firmly in the fantasy realm. We have 6 stories gathered together set in this world. Some are loosely connected, others just visit familiar places or have some familiar faces pop up. Instead of stories, I think I might call these yarns that Jack Vance unravels for us. They reminded me in some ways of Grimm's fairy tales. So I'm just going to briefly tell you the hook for each of these 6 stories. The first one is Turgeon of Mere. Turgeon is a magician, but he also mixes it with scientific knowledge. He dabbles in genetics and grows humans within vats. He sets out on a quest to find the world's greatest magician, Pandaloum. There he meets a beautiful woman created by Pandaloum called Tissé. Something went wrong in the vats and she's angry at everything, having difficulty understanding good and evil, beauty and ugliness. The second story is Missourian, the magician. This is a game of cat and mouse between Missourian and Turgeon, and the quest is in the balance. There's some quite clever action in this story. The third story is Tissé, and it focuses on that beautiful woman who was created without the ability to recognize beauty, to think of it as ugliness, and the world as evil. She leaves the realm of Pandaloum to go to Earth. Here on Earth, She searches for beauty. She wants to understand what it is and what it means to be good. By the way, a twin was created of Tesei called Tessan. Tessan is created out of the same DNA that created Tesei, except this flaw has been fixed. She can see beauty and be good. What happens when these twins meet? The fourth story is more of a standalone story titled Lien, the Wayfarer. He is an evil trickster, a smooth talker who wants to gain the attention of an evil witch named Lith. She sends him on a quest that doesn't quite go as expected. This is a very clever story that could be read by itself. The fifth story is titled Ulan Dur, and it's about a prince who's sent out to seek 2 tablets. He's sent, though, to the cities. We discover what has happened to the technology of these cities. This definitely has some science fictional elements here. It makes you wonder about this dying Earth and why there's so much magic here when in the city itself it's based on technology. And the sixth and last story is Guyal of Saphir. In this one we have a character who incessantly asks questions, and he's sent on a quest to use this ability of his. He goes in search of answers, looking for the curator of the Museum of Man. He's not respected amongst his peers, but in the end, his questioning abilities may save the day. These yarns from Jack Vance are well told and entertaining. There's no wonder that this became one of the influences for Dungeons & Dragons. From Gary Gygax's Appendix N, we see Vance, Jack, the eyes of the overworld, the dying earth, et al. Vance's work is just a good time, and besides that, he has some amazing, beautiful prose. The description of the earth, the forests, the cities are beautiful. His prose seems to be tight and simple, but it flows in beautiful ways. I can see how this novel has been so influential to many other writers. I think it's a classic. I give it 8.5 out of 10. Well worth a read. Just know if you're a science fiction fan that the science fiction is in the background and we have more of a fairy tale fantasy setting here. In fact, one of the covers of the books I showed you says that this is science fantasy. So have you read Dying Earth? How about the sequels? Are they worth a read? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep reading.